So it is 2:02. I'm going to go ahead and get started and be mindful of everyone's time. Welcome, everybody. My name is Stephanie Broussard, and I'm the Assistant Director of Graduate Recruitment for Lamar University. I assist in recruitment for our flexible learning programs, which includes some of our online programs, our on-campus programs, some of our hybrid programs. So pretty much I assist students from the moment they're interested in the program through the whole enrollment process. Once they apply, they need to get their transcripts. I follow up with students weekly and bi-weekly in terms of getting their application complete and then hopefully getting them enrolled in those classes. Before we get started, I do have a few housekeeping things. We have an ASL interpreter here for students that may need those services. Her name is Hannah, and her camera is going to be on. So make sure you pin that camera if you need to. And we also have Courtney, our closed caption person. She's going to be providing closed caption services. And also I'll get to our guest of the hour in a few moments. That's going to be Dr. Burns. But also one last thing, if you have any questions throughout this presentation, please make sure you drop your questions in the chat, the little chat option that you have down there at the bottom. And at the end of Dr. Burns or Professor Burns' presentation, we're going to have a question and answer period to where I'll be able to give her your questions live and she'll be able to answer them for you. Also, I am giving away, like I always do in my little graduate sessions, but I don't have one with me. I'll be giving away all kind of stickers and bumper stickers, and I kind of put a little thank you package together for those students that put their email address in the chat. I'll send you an email after the session and say, give me your physical address, and I'll send you a little thank you little package this week. So it usually includes like a little bumper sticker or some stickers or something like that. So without further ado.
Just 1 second, I'm sorry to interrupt, but for the person to pin the video, I actually need to speak first because it prioritizes the video. So if you are deaf or hard of hearing or need sign language services, please click on my video now that you can see it and it's come up. Click on the 3 dots and then click on pin video.
Thank you, Hannah. So before we get started, or as we get started, I would like to introduce to you Professor Clare Burns. She's the MSA Director, Masters of Accounting Director here at Lamar University. And she is going to give us some general information about the Masters in Accounting program. Professor Burns, would you like to go ahead and share your screen?
Well, once again, I'm Clare Burns, and I'm the Director of the Master of Science in Accounting program at Lamar. And I thank you for joining us today and expressing interest in our program. The MSA program is designed for those students who are interested in becoming a CPA. It's a 34-hour program, and it meets all of the educational requirements to sit for the CPA exam in Texas. A student is not required to have an undergraduate degree in accounting or an undergraduate degree in business in order to be admitted into the MSA program. But those students would be required to take leveling courses prior to taking the graduate coursework. Now, I do want to mention that if you are a domestic student, you can actually take those required leveling courses as a pre-master student. So you don't have to be fully accepted into the program in order to take the leveling courses. Okay, you can actually take those courses as a post-baccalaureate student. Now, a lot of students join our MSA program because of the strong demand for CPAs. Basically, the reason there's such a strong demand for CPAs is because of the financial expertise and the analytical skills that CPAs hold. These skills are critical in running a successful business. If you think about it, every company needs an accountant, right? And not only do they want an accountant, but they want someone who has this CPA designation that signifies that they have these skills that are so critical to running a successful business. Because of this strong demand for CPAs, the employment rate of our graduates from the MSA program is very high. I would say over the last 5 to 6 years, not over 90% of our domestic MSA graduates have a job offer at the time of graduation. Regarding compensation, there's a significant differential in the compensation of a CPA versus an accountant. Okay, it has been estimated that there is a $1 million difference in the compensation of a CPA over an unlicensed accountant over their professional career. So it definitely pays to get the CPA designation. Okay, I wanted to show you just some of the careers that, that CPAs will go into. You can be an auditor, basically go into public accounting in the form of an auditor, tax accountant, a consultant. You see CPAs as financial analysts, as financial accountants, cost accountants, forensic accountants. Obviously, CPAs get into education. Even the FBI hires CPAs because of their analytical skills. So these are some of the, like traditional careers. But I would tell you, because of the financial expertise, what you will see is later in a CPA's career, you will often see those CPAs in executive management positions. So you'll see CPAs serving as CEOs, CFOs, COOs. That is very, very common. And once again, it's because of that financial expertise that is so greatly valued by these companies. Okay. Okay, and looking specifically at our MSA program, we have a very structured recruiting process. And once again, this is why so many, like I said, 92, sometimes we've even had 100% of our graduates have those job offers prior to graduating. And once again, it's because of this structured recruiting process that we have. We have an event that's referred to as Meet the Firms, and we have it twice a year, where employers come to Lamar to recruit our students. So we have that every fall and every spring. We have a lot firms from Beaumont, companies from Beaumont, as well as all over Southeast Texas. A lot of firms from Houston recruit at Lamar as well. And we'll be taking a look at some of those employers in just a few moments. The MSA program has various professional development programs that are also very valuable in establishing students' professional development. So when they actually leave Lamar, they will be ready to operate in a professional environment. We have the opportunity for a paid internship. So in the 34-hour MSA program, you can get up to 6 hours of credit for an internship. And those internships are actually paid internships. And the students are typically earning the salary in a paid internship that they will be when they actually graduate. And they're, with their MSA. Now, I can't say that's for all companies, but that is fairly common. You also have the opportunity to study abroad in the MSA program. You can get 3 hours of study abroad credit in this program. Many of our students have studied abroad in China, Spain, Argentina, and France. And not only do you have the opportunity to earn, of course, 3 hours of credit studying abroad, which is super interesting, but also there are scholarships available in the College of Business to assist with the cost. I mean, some of the scholarships are so significant, it covers a significant amount of the cost, sometimes if not all of it. So definitely if you choose to study abroad, you would want to specifically apply for the study abroad scholarships. I don't think I've ever had a student who's returned from study abroad who regretted taking advantage of that opportunity. Another highlight of our MSA program is the fact that a student can sit for the CPA exam before graduation. So this is actually I shouldn't say very unusual, but you don't see a lot of schools in Texas where students have this ability. There's a couple of other schools besides Lamar who offer this opportunity for the students, but it's an excellent opportunity because the students can get a couple of the sections of the CPA exam taken care of prior to graduation. They're just that much further ahead when they start their professional career. So there's 4 sections of the CPA exam, and we have our students sit for 2 sections of the exam in their last semester of coursework if they so choose. We certainly don't require a student to sit for the CPA exam, but as I said, once again, it's just an excellent opportunity to have 2 sections passed, because then you're halfway there and you just have that incentive to finish the exam as quickly as possible and just to get that out of the way so you don't have to worry about that later on in your career. And looking at some of our recent employers of LU MSA graduates, you will see some of the big 4 accounting firms on here, such as Deloitte, PwC, KPMG. We have local accounting firms that also hire our Lamar graduates. A couple of those are EKC and Wathen DeShong. There's obviously others as well. Weinstein Spirit is a mid-market firm in Houston who hires a lot of our MSA grads. Grant Thornton and BDO are also international accounting firms that hire a lot of our MSA graduates. They are not the big four, but they're right below the big four. Anderson, who used to be Anderson Tax, but is now expanding their services, they recruit and hire our students as well. You'll also see Industries. We've had 3 or 4 recent MSA graduates go to work for ExxonMobil. Motiva hires our students. So as you can see, there's a lot of opportunity. The Texas Comptroller usually comes to our Meet the Firms to look to hire some of our students as well. So as I said, lots of opportunities to just talk to these firms about employment opportunities and ultimately going to work for these firms. And this isn't all of them. These are just some of the ones that quickly came to mind. Okay. I mentioned before that we have professional development programs. A lot of the professional development programs that we have are actually organized by our accounting student organizations, Beta Alpha Psi, the Accounting Society, and the National Association of Black Accountants. Okay. Just to mention a couple of these, we have the Etiquette Dinner every fall, and it is hosted by Deloitte, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's held on the 8th floor of the library. And every year when we have this event, it just, as I said, turns out to be a lot of fun. It's something that everybody enjoys. And as I said, it's sponsored and paid for, of course, by Deloitte. We, as I've already mentioned, have Meet the Firms recruiting events twice a year. We have a tailgate every fall with the Southeast Texas chapter of the Texas Society of CPAs. We have various events throughout the year with the local chapter of the TSCPAs. We also have multiple professional speakers year-round, and these speakers can be very, very interesting. Every year, or academic year, we like to have an ethics speaker who comes to Lamar to speak to our MSA students. And over the last few years, we've had 2 ethics speakers who are very impactful with their presentations. We had Helen Sharkey, who was from Dynegy, and Aaron Beam, who was from Health South. And both of these individuals served prison time as a result of making unethical choices as an accounting professional. So our students were able to hear firsthand their stories and the implications of their choices. And as I said, it was extremely interesting and impactful for our students. We've also had representatives from the Securities and Exchange Commission come speak to our students. We've had 2 different speakers from the SEC. Those have always been very, very interesting, as well as, of course, partners from local accounting firms and the Big Four and other international accounting firms. We typically have panel discussions with these partners from the various firms, as well as industries. So once again, very informative speakers, so our students can have a better understanding what their opportunities are when they graduate with their MSA. In addition, we have a lot of accounting scholarships that are available not only to our undergraduate students, but to our MSA students. So most of the scholarships listed on this page are available for both undergraduate and graduate. There may be some that are just undergraduate only. This is just a comprehensive list of the scholarships available for accounting students, but most of them are available for undergraduate and graduate. But there are some that are specifically graduate and some of them that are specifically undergraduate. But there's over $50,000 a year awarded to our accounting students. So once again, significant opportunities for scholarships in the MSA program. In addition to these listed here, there's also the Graduate Studies Scholarship that Lamar Graduate Studies Office offers as well. Lastly, I do want to mention that the College of Business is accredited by the AACSB. It's a very rigorous accreditation process that we go through every 5 years. Lamar is one of 5% of schools worldwide, business schools worldwide that actually have this accreditation. So it's a very prestigious accreditation. One other thing I do want to mention that I realized I failed to mention earlier is in order to sit for the CPA exam, you are required to have more than just an undergraduate degree in accounting, okay? So basically, the Texas State Board of Public Accountants requires that a student have 150 hours of college credit versus the 120 hours that are required by an undergraduate accounting degree. And so you don't necessarily have to have a master's degree, right, to reach the 150 hours, but obviously that's how most students actually earn the 150 hours of credit, because if they only have the 120 from the undergraduate degree and you need 30 additional hours, okay, most master's programs are anywhere from 30 to 36 hours. So in the case of our program, it's 34. So you end up with 154 hours, okay, which is just a few more hours in excess of the 150 that's required by the state board. So it's very common for people to obtain the additional 30 hours through a master's degree, okay? Even if a student happens to have the 150 hours after graduating with the undergraduate degree in accounting, maybe because they've changed their majors, several times, there are still some additional accounting hours and ethics hours that students have to have above and beyond what they received in an undergraduate degree, okay? So many of our students will also consider the graduate certificate in professional accounting program if they're already close to the 150 hours and they just need some additional accounting and ethics hours required by the state board. So that's something else you may want to consider, and I can talk to you about individually. If you're interested in the graduate certificate of professional accounting program, that's a 15-hour program. So, any questions?
You did a great job. You answered everything.
So I'm sure I probably talked a little bit fast, so maybe someone didn't catch all of it.
This is why I think it's always important, because I am one person and I have to kind of give general information over all. We have like over 60 different programs. So I have to kind of touch the surface on every single program. But it's great when we're able to have like expert faculty like yourself, and especially with you, you're the director of the program. You really zoom in on the things that are really important for this program, the highlights for this program, what makes this program different from any other place in the state of Texas. Because, I have a degree, I have a background in criminal justice and counseling, but you're making me want to go get an accounting degree. So.
Okay, and you know what? I just thought of something very important that I left out.
Oh, go ahead.
About one of the highlights of our program. I mentioned the fact that our students can sit for the CPA exam in the last semester of coursework. And that was actually a fairly recent change to our program. But I just wanted to mention, in 4 of the past 5 testing windows, Lamar University's results have ranked anywhere from number 10 to number 15 in the state, and that's out of 70 Texas universities. So not only are we offering this, the ability for our students to sit, but we are seeing excellent results as a result of those students focusing on that CPA exam in their last semester of coursework. So we are seeing results from that. Okay, so to get back to questions.
Okay, so this is my little question and answer screen. Hopefully everybody can see that. I am going to come over here. We do have quite a bit of questions. So let me y'all can't see those, but I am coming over here to move my questions over. So a few questions. Does your program take transfer credit? So I'm assuming if a student has maybe some hours at a previous institution under a master's in accounting program, because like you said, there's several other different programs in the state of Texas. Does your program take transfer hours?
We can take up to 6 hours of transfer credit. And normally we will take those in the area of the elective courses. Okay. So the 34 hours we can take up to 6.
34 hours, we can take up to 6, okay.
Yes.
Does your program offer online classes? Like, what does the scheduling look like? Is it morning classes? Is it weekends?
Okay.
Do you have a few classes online on campus? How does that go?
So I would say it's a range. So our program is mainly face-to-face. Okay, so right now let's exclude the COVID situation. So in normal times, most of our program is face-to-face. We have 5 electives in our program. And of those 5 electives, most students will have 3 accounting electives and 2 MBA electives. Those MBA electives are offered online, so you can easily get the 6 hours of MBA electives online. 6 hours of internships. So that's about 12 hours that you're getting outside of a typical day program. We do offer some of our classes at night, but it varies by semester. We are considered a day program. There are a couple of our classes that we only offer during the day, okay? And typically our students will work with their employers. Maybe they'll work during their lunch hour. Sometimes the courses are during the lunch hour. So it really varies by semester. But as I said, we are considered a day program, although usually every semester there will be a couple of them offered at night.
Okay. Here's another good question. And I guess this is going back to when you mentioned study abroad. If we choose to do a study abroad, are we able to to take MSA classes during this time?
Okay, so typically the study abroads in the College of Business are during breaks. It's during spring break and as well as the winter break, okay? So when the students go on the study abroad, classes are not in session, okay? But once again, those hours normally will count, maybe your sign up for during spring break, and obviously that's part of the spring semester. So yes, in addition to the study abroad hours, you will be taking other hours that same semester.
Okay. Excuse me.
And also the other thing I was going to say, summer. So there will be study abroad opportunities during the summer, but once again, it's normally right after the spring semester ends, and it's before the summer session begins. So you can also take additional courses in summer 1 or summer 2.
Oh, okay.
Typically how that works, yes.
Okay. What does it take to get into Lamar's MSA program? I guess, and this is kind of because I have another question that was sent to me privately. Well, if I can, let me jump into this one real quick. So the first step in the process, of course, would be go to Apply Texas and to apply for the MSA program. You would go into your Apply Texas just like you did when you went through undergrad. You would create your account. You would select the term that you're interested in applying for, and then you would just go to MSA or Master's in Accounting and then do the whole application process. Lamar University does require that you submit transcripts from all your previous institutions, and those are 4-year institutions. So if you took, a history class at a community college or at HCC or something like that, we actually don't need we don't need community college transcripts, but we do need 4-year institution transcripts. So if you took a history class at University of Houston, we would actually need that transcript, but not if you took it at a community college. And then along with that, and I'll let Dr. Burns get into the GMAT requirements, but in terms of the application process, it would be Apply Texas and transcripts. And Dr. Burns, or Claire, is there anything, as far as I know, that do you require any kind of like supplemental information like resumes or essay or personal statement or anything like that? Do you require that for the MSA?
No, we do not require, we just require the application and the transcripts. Our decision is basically made on GPAs and GMAT because those are the best indicators of success for our program. Now, it really, depending on your background and your undergraduate degree, okay, will also vary, may vary the application timing. Okay, so if you are earning an undergraduate degree in accounting from Lamar, you can actually be dual enrolled as an undergraduate and as a graduate student. So once you've successfully completed Intermediate 2, you can actually be dual enrolled. If you are going to be dual enrolled, you actually apply to the program through me. You do not go through Apply Texas. You apply through the department because you're already a current student. Okay, this is if you're a current Lamar undergraduate accounting student. If you are a student, then once again, who graduated from Lamar or any other institution, and you've already graduated, or if you're in your last semester of coursework, even if you're an undergraduate accounting major, if you're in your last semester of coursework, you need to go through Apply Texas, okay? So that's regardless of what your undergraduate degree is in. You would go through Apply Texas. Now, the criteria to get in differs, once again, based on your undergraduate degree. If you are earning an undergraduate degree in accounting, whether it is from Lamar or any other domestic university, we are going to base that decision on your undergraduate GPA as well as the undergraduate GPA in your accounting coursework alone, okay? In order to get accepted directly into the MSA program, if you had an undergraduate degree in accounting, you need a 3.0 overall, okay, as well as a minimum 3.0 in your accounting coursework. If you do not meet those criteria as an undergraduate accounting student, okay, then you can start with the Graduate Certificate in Professional Accounting program, which is basically 5 of the MSA courses. And as long as you earn a 3.0 in those 5 graduate certificate courses, we will then transfer those courses to the MSA curriculum. Okay, so basically it's like a probationary period, right? So you're still taking the 5 MSA courses, and those courses are the additional accounting courses and ethics courses you need to sit for the CPA exam, okay? So they're not going to necessarily get you to the 150 hours, but that will get you the additional accounting you need and ethics you need. And once again, once you make that 3.0, minimum 3.0 in those 5 courses, you can then apply those to the Master of Science in Accounting coursework, because it's, as I said, 5 MSA courses, okay? Now, if it's someone who does not have an undergraduate degree in accounting, you know, once again, you will need to take the accounting leveling courses. Since you need those accounting leveling courses and possibly business leveling courses, if you did not earn an undergraduate degree in business, then you can actually take those courses without being fully accepted in the MSA program, okay? And so you don't have to have taken the GMAT. The reality is, when you're taking those accounting leveling courses, okay, and business leveling courses, you have to earn a 3.0 in those leveling courses in order to move on to the MSA program. So as long as you earn a minimum 3.0 in those accounting leveling courses, and then if you have business leveling courses and the business leveling courses as well, then you never even have to take the GMAT. Because once again, your success in those leveling courses tells us that we believe you can be successful in our MSA program. So the reality is, a domestic student does not need to take the GMAT, okay? One benefit to taking the GMAT and being accepted into the MSA program while you're taking those leveling courses is just for purposes of scholarships. So it helps, you know, like I said, being eligible for scholarships. Once someone is fully admitted to the MSA program, even if they did take the leveling courses as a pre-master student, they are then eligible for scholarships as well.
Okay. I am keeping up with a lot of these questions. Do you have to be a full-time student in order to be in the program? Do you have to be full all the way through?
No, absolutely not. We have students who are full-time because they're wanting to complete the program as quickly as possible, and they have the ability to do that. We have students who have completed the program over a long period of time. Just realize in Lamar's graduate programs, you have 6 years to complete a program. Okay, so from the time you start, you need to complete it in 6 years. Given the fact that it's only 34 hours, you know, once again, it's easy to complete it in 6 years, even going part-time.
Okay. And your program is offered year-round? Like they can start spring, summer, fall?
Yes,
anytime?
that's correct. You can start in any semester.
Okay. There is a question here. When can I apply for the MSA program? I plan to graduate in December with an undergraduate degree in accounting. So if you, go ahead,
Yeah.
Dr. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, you're absolutely, you can apply now.
Yes.
If you are an undergraduate accounting student, as I said, you know, at Lamar, you might as well apply once you finish intermediate 2. I can go ahead and accept you into the program, okay? And once again, if you are an undergraduate accounting student from another university, you can go ahead and apply at that point too. I will just be accepting you contingent upon, you know, you keeping your grades where they are at the time that I accept you, just making sure you still have that 3.0 by the time you graduate, okay? But we want to see that a student has completed intermediate 2 before we accept them into the program.
What is the fastest that someone has completed this program?
Okay, so basically it's going to take 3 long semesters, okay, to complete the program. So if you start, let's say you start in The spring, it would be the spring. You take a couple of classes in the summer and the fall. What's left the following spring, that last semester, are the CPA exam review courses where students take those courses and then sit for the CPA exam. So basically, your first 30 hours are completed in 2 long semesters in the summer, and that final long semester are just those CPA exam review courses. It's 4 hours, the last 4 hours. And those courses are so rigorous in preparing for that CPA exam that students will spend anywhere from 35 to 40 hours a week in each of those courses. So we have, the way the program is structured is you will take the first CPA review course the first 8 weeks of the semester and then sit for that section of the exam if you so choose. And then the second 8 weeks of the semester, students will sit for the second CPA review course. And then once again, if they so choose, sit for the CPA exam. So it's, it's only 1 review course at a time and 2 review courses in that semester. So that's why the students will go that last semester, because that's when they're sitting for the exam. Now, some students will maybe have an additional course or 2 in addition to the CPA review courses their last semester. And they can do that as long as they're eligible for the CPA exam at that point. So it's not always just the 4 hours, but that's what a typical student will do.
Okay. And I do want to go back and mention about the previous application question about when do I apply. So currently in Applied Texas, you can apply for summer 2020 if you're ready to. You can apply for fall 2020, and you can currently apply for spring 2021. So if you're looking like long-term, if you're looking at summer 2021 or fall 2021, we update those applications. Like you'll be able to do summer in August, and you'll be able to apply for the previous fall. I believe it goes all the way in September. So, but once again, if you have any questions about, not being able to see that program in Applied Texas when you're ready to apply, just please feel free to reach out to myself and I can walk you through that process. What about the cost of the program? What is the cost of your program?
Okay, so so currently tuition and fees for the 34-hour program is $17,300. Okay, now I do want to mention that we use the Becker CPA review in the CPA review courses, and it is very expensive. It's currently $2,350 for a Lamar student. Okay, and so I know that sounds very, very expensive, but before you start panicking at the cost of the review, I will tell you that so many of our students who complete internships, especially with the Houston firms typically pay for those review materials, okay? And so, I mentioned to you that so many of our students have a full-time job offer by the time they graduate. Like I said, 90 to 100% of our domestic students. And once again, those typically arise as a result of the internship. So when a student accepts the full-time job offer from the internship, as I said, those firms will typically pay for those CPA review materials. So many of our students do not pay for those materials. In addition, we usually have a couple of scholarships from Becker, okay, that will assist our students in paying for these materials, okay? So they will get them, we have typically a couple of 50% off scholarships from Becker that we can award to students who are not getting assistance elsewhere. And in addition to that, some of the scholarships that we have for MSA students are very, very significant. And they will help, many times cover the cost of the CPA review materials. So many times when we're awarding those scholarships, we're looking for students who do not have the Becker materials paid for, okay? In addition to that, there are also the Texas State Board of Public Accountants allocates funds to Lamar, okay, for the 5th-year student. It's a 5th-year student program. Once again, that is helping to cover the cost of that 5th year. And once again, when we're awarding those scholarships, many times I'm looking for students who do not have the Becker materials paid for, and I will encourage them to apply for the scholarship, that 5th-year scholarship, once again, to cover the cost or a significant portion of the cost of the Becker materials. So once again, the Becker materials are separate from the $17,300 tuition and fees. But as I said, we typically find assistance for our students in covering the cost if their employer is not covering that cost for them.
Speaking of cost, there is another question here about the scholarships. The scholarships mentioned earlier in your slide. Do we just fill out one general scholarship application for those, or do we need to apply for them individually? And I guess how would we know which is which?
Okay, no, so you can, for all of those scholarships, you just apply on the Lamar scholarship page. Okay, so all of those go through Lamar scholarship page. There will be other scholarships, so that arise, such as the Texas State Board of Public Accountants 5th-year scholarship. That is going to be separate, okay? So I typically will inform students of that scholarship if they meet the criteria, okay? In addition, there will be other scholarships that arise, such as the Becker Scholarship, our local chapter, the Texas Society of CPAs, they also give scholarships every year to our students. That's also a separate application process, but that always comes through on the Blackboard page, okay? The Beta Alpha Psi Blackboard page that we have our students, that all of our accounting students are linked to. So most of the scholarships, the ones on that page, yes, that's through the the Lamar scholarships, but there are others that will arise as well that you will need to be always watching that Blackboard page, so you will be aware of them.
And also to piggyback on that question, I wanted to like share my screen to where I can show you where to go on the website, but I really don't want to mess everything up on this. This is going very perfect, people. So basically what you would do is you would go to the lamar.edu website. There's a little search bar in the top corner, in the top right-hand corner, and you can type in scholarships. Then you would go to the scholarships page. You should not apply for scholarships if you haven't applied to the school yet. So definitely make sure that you have your application going in Apply Texas before you put your information in there, because you won't have an ID number and you need that to go through the application process. So it's one general, from what I understand, it's one general scholarship application, and then it kind of matches you up with what you are qualified for based off your major, your criteria, your GPA, and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how you would go about that process of applying. You wouldn't have to apply individually for every single different scholarship. It's one big search engine that we have here at Lamar. Also, for the students that are current Lamar's undergraduate students, we have the Continuing Cardinal Scholarship, which is a scholarship that I personally manage. It's a $2,000 scholarship to help students transition from undergrad straight into grad. So you would have to like, let's say you graduated in May, you would have to start the program in either like June or August in order to be eligible for those funds. And the minimum GPA is a 3.0. And if you have questions about that scholarship, please feel free to reach out to me, because like I said, it's something that I personally manage myself. And there's not like a scholarship application process through the school. It's through my office.
Yeah, Stephanie, one other point I was going to mention is the Graduate Study Scholarship. If you are a full-time MSA student and you meet the criteria for the Graduate Study Scholarship, that is just automatic. It's $500 a semester. And once again, if you meet the criteria, that's just something you automatically receive without applying for scholarships at all.
Okay.
I just determine that based on when I'm accepting the student.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because I actually get that question a lot. How am I eligible for this scholarship? And I'm like, yeah, that goes kind of straight through the department. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, there is money out there, folks. We are here to support you if you are trying to go to graduate school with our scholarship funds. Another question is, could my current job count towards an internship or towards internship courses?
Okay, so it depends. And if you are doing accounting work, most likely, yes, it can count. But there's basically, if it's a job you've had, and obviously you've been doing that for a while, in order to count for a scholarship, in order to count for an internship, you have to have different job responsibilities than your typical job responsibilities. Okay, so normally the employers are pretty good about, working with our students and giving them different job responsibilities during that time period so that it will qualify for an internship. Okay, so Dr. Tim McCoy is our internship coordinator, and students who are interested in completing an internship will want to meet with him, and he will tell you the criteria okay, that you must follow in order to count a current job as an internship. But that's basically what it gets down to. You've got to do something other than what you're typically doing as your job responsibilities.
Okay, here's another good question. How long does it take to hear back about the MSA after we apply? So to kind of jump in there, that kind of depends more so on the student in terms of how quickly you can get your documents in. I know with everything going on with COVID-19, a lot of schools are going through transitional periods with with transcripts and sending transcripts out. There's a lot of staff working from home, and even with Lamar University, we have several of our staff working from home. So transcripts are still coming in and being processed. And so it's kind of, we appreciate everyone's grace with the whole process, but just as we are going through this, so are a lot of other institutions. So typically, I try to shoot for at least a 7 to 10 day turnaround once everything is done on the student side in terms of your transcripts and everything goes well with Apply Texas. And I typically follow up. It is my job to follow up with each department and each program. When I see a student that's been in review for a long period of time, I follow up with the department and say, hey, the students, what's the decision for the student? So we definitely don't want you out there waiting, because within that time you can be looking at other schools. So we definitely want to keep you here and get you a speedy decision. But just keep in mind with so much going on right now, the processing time, transcripts and archiving all that information, it is taking a little bit longer than necessary, but I'm working on at least a 7 to 10 day turnaround once your application is complete, if not less than that. So hopefully that answers that question. There's another one about when do we start applying? It more so, oh, here's one. When should we apply if we are a finance major? And I think this kind of goes back to when you mentioned if they are current undergraduate accounting students, when they should apply. You mentioned a class. So in terms of like programs or students that don't have backgrounds in accounting, does it matter, or is it more so, you can just apply and then Clare Burns will review your application as it comes in?
Okay, well, yes, and I will review the applications as they come in, but one thing that if you are an undergraduate other than accounting, it's super important for you to speak with me while you're actually going through that program, because I mentioned you would have to have some accounting leveling courses, and those accounting leveling courses can many times qualify as electives that you need in the undergraduate program. So if you're taking some of those accounting leveling courses as your electives in your undergraduate program, you're just that much farther along by the time you graduate with your undergraduate degree. So it's never too early to speak with me about your particular situation, and then we can figure out the best time for you to apply. But as I said, it's more so in just getting those courses while you're getting the undergraduate, so you don't have to apply, to be taking those leveling courses, right? I mean, we can talk, you can be taking those courses as electives, and then once you graduate, you can apply to the program. But as I said, we really just want, if you have the opportunity to take some of those courses early, that's, as I said, a significant benefit.
Okay, we have 3 more questions and I'm going to bring it to a close because I want to be mindful of everyone's time. The recruitment process through Lamar seems to be geared more towards internships while in school. What would be a good way to go about finding a full-time job straight out of school without the internship process? Or what does that process look like?
Okay, so, a lot of our students, that they have not had internships, we still strongly recommend for them to come to meet the firms to talk to the employers, because although most of the employers will hire through internships, they are typically always still looking for employees, okay? And so regardless of whether or not you had an internship, we always recommend coming to meet the firms to talk to the employers, because we think that's the easiest way to actually get a full-time job, okay? In addition to that, as I said, if, let's say it's your last year, or excuse me, your last semester of the MSA program and you haven't gotten a job, just even coming to the professional events where we have the professional speakers of the firms and the companies. It's just always, networking with these professionals is always, like I said, so beneficial. Even if they don't have something available, so many times they have, their professionals they know in other firms and other companies. And that, for an example, with public accounting firms, many times they know some of their clients who are looking for people in the accounting arena, right? And so they know their clients are looking for people. So it's just to be able to network with those professionals, we think is the easiest way to find a job, regardless of whether or not you had an internship. So just to continue, continue going to those events up until the time you graduate. Now, another, let's say, opportunity is once you graduate, the Lamar Career and Testing Center, they are contacted by employers all the time looking for accounting employees. And all of that information is on the website. And even as an alumni, you have access to the Lamar Career and Testing Center website. And as I said, we have people calling us all the time looking for people in accounting, and sometimes with experience, without experience. And so once again, those are posted on the Career and Testing website. So you'll want to continue to view that website even after you graduate.
If you do not have an undergraduate degree in accounting, will you not have to be required to take the hours for the CPA exam just for the MSA program?
Okay, let me answer the question. I'm not sure I'm clear on the question. If you don't have the undergraduate degree in accounting, okay, then you will be taking leveling courses that are necessary not only to take the graduate coursework, but in order to make sure you have sufficient accounting hours to sit for the CPA exam. So by the time you take the accounting leveling courses and you complete the MSA, you will have all the necessary educational requirements to sit for the CPA exam. Now, someone can have an undergraduate degree other than accounting, take the accounting leveling courses, as well as some additional accounting courses in the MSA program and ethics and some of the other requirements, and still get what you need to sit for the exam without completing 100% of the MSA program. Okay, so even if you don't have the undergraduate degree in accounting, we can get you all the courses necessary to sit for the CPA exam without completing the MSA. But normally what happens is people are so close at that point, they'll just go ahead and finish the MSA, but as I said, that's not required.
Okay, and our last question, and then we'll be wrapping up. Can you sign up and start taking MSA classes before finishing your undergraduate degree, assuming you have less than 6 credits left? I think that kind of goes back to what you had mentioned earlier.
Yes, you can. And once again, if you're an undergraduate accounting, you could have been dual enrolled before that point. And then once again, if you are in a degree other than accounting, and you only have 6 hours remaining, yes, we'll definitely want to get you started on those leveling courses that you will need in that last, and as I said, you can take those in your last semester of coursework easily.
Okay. Well, thank you, Clare Burns. You have been such a great help. You have inspired me to possibly look into the accounting program. I really appreciate your time. If we didn't get to your question, or if you had a question and we're about to wrap it up and you still want to get your question answered, please feel free to send me your question. I had my information up and I can forward it to Clare Burns in the accounting department, or you can just contact her directly. Like I said, I kind of graze the surface on every single program, so I don't have the in-depth knowledge that each of these program directors have. So if you feel more comfortable sending your questions to her, please feel free to do so. Just in case you need that information again, here's our contact information. I encourage you also to please put your email address down in the chat. Please put your email address down in the chat if you'd like to have a little thank you gift from Lamar University for attending our session. And like I said, it includes bumper stickers and little things like that. So, and also, I host a series of other different graduate sessions throughout the weeks. So each Monday is going to be a different program. This week was accounting. Next week is going to be our MBA program. You can find more information about that and the different scheduling of the graduate sessions coming up at lamar.edu/visit. So if you are interested in something else, or if you know someone that is who else is interested, please invite them to join our sessions so that we can get more students and answer more questions, so that you have all the information you need to make a good decision on where you decide to pursue your graduate studies. I do appreciate everyone's time. Thank you so much for joining us, and we are finished. Thank y'all. Y'all have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.